Welcome to Bloodbath and Beyond. Today we're doing a retrospective review of The Beyond. Through the gates of hell they came, from the beyond.
Directed by Lucio Fulci, starring Catriona MacColl, David Warbeck, and Cinzia Monreale, this movie is the second entry in the Death Trilogy from Lucio Fulci. It's about a woman, Liza, who buys a new hotel that's been seemingly abandoned for years. And for good reason, because it is a passageway to the gates of hell. And now her and the doctor need to figure out, is this all in her head, or is everyone around her actually dead? Check it! This is a recommendation from Patreon from Mitchell Smith Long. The Beyond is one of those movies that we probably should have done a review for ages ago. Considering that City of the Living Dead was one of the movies that kick-started like me, Trav, and Andy's love for horror back in the day. It's very similar to Suspiria in like the Three Mothers trilogy. You can watch them independently, and in this, you won't skip it. Anyway, what do we like?
I'm starting this off with the cinematography. There really is no surprise here. When you think of like Italian cinema and Italian horror, cinematography and the mise en scène, the making of the scene is what stands out in most of these films. And in this one, it does not let you down. It is beautifully shot, and how they use the lighting is what creates the atmosphere and it helps tell the story. It's the old noir style where you have like just the eyes are what's lit and everything else is in the shadows. It just makes it more eerie and it just feels way creepier.
Definitely a stark contrast from other Italian cinema, especially in horror when we're talking about like Argento or Bava, where they have really like sharp contrasting light. This uses light in a different way without using like neon pinks and greens and shit. To help with the setting is definitely the music, which was fantastic. And it's creepy, especially when you couple that with the cinematography and the setting, because you have this abandoned, dusty-ass hotel, which I have no idea how that woman's not sneezing. She goes into that, like, room 36, which she was, prior to this, she was told, don't go in there. Look at this place. It's fucking dusty as hell. I'd be sneezing like crazy.
You can tell she, like, held the sneeze. Like, as she does, like, the turnaround to walk back, you see that, like, squint, and you're like, yeah, she's holding it in. And the person who warned Liza to not go in here is Emily, who's the blind girl. She's pretty much like the poster girl for this film. She's blind, so she has these very distinct eyes that actually are very creepy. There's something about Lucio Fulci and eyes. I just get squeamish with eyes.
But the reason why she has those eyes is kind of cool is because she's gone to the beyond, and this is what she comes back with. What she's seen is just too much, and it's absolutely worth mentioning, going back to the eyes. He not only loves eyes, but he loves destroying eyeballs. Whether it's by the way of tarantula or spikes, which was really cool in this one. We had the reverse spike, where a girl's head was pushed on to like a nail and her eyeball comes out, which is a nice kind of homage to himself.
Nice homage to Zombie. And with that, there's no shortage of practical effects in this film. All the kills look fantastic. Right off the bat, we get this like sweet chain kill where like the guy's just getting beaten with the chain and like his skin is being like torn apart.
You ungodly warlock.
The chain must have barbs or something on it, because chains don't do that. But hey, Italian cinema, make everything bloody, it's fine.
All the kills are really impactful. Even when like the guy is getting basically crucified, when they put the nail through like the forearm, you feel it, you see it. Every kill in this movie, you're gonna be impressed with.
I also liked our doctor because he was just kind of like this Harrison Ford type of fella, or it seemed like it. Even though he was a doctor, it felt like he was like an archaeologist. The way that he had his like shirt unbuttoned a little bit, he had that flair.
I thought it was more Pierce Brosnan, you know, like 007 style. This film also had really good pacing to it. I didn't find myself bored once. It is a slower movie because it's kind of a mystery. They're trying to solve what's happening, and they do a good job keeping a strong pace while telling a very interesting tale. It does make you want more, and you find yourself invested in the lore and this universe that he's created.
Now, what didn't we like? Well, talking about our our doctor. I think he's a dumb shit. There's a bunch of zombies coming at him, and he sees that shooting somebody in the chest and then the stomach and then the head kills them. He's got this pattern in his head at this point, like, oh, it must be 2 shots to the body, 1 to the head. He never once thought, maybe it's just 1 shot to the head.
He did think it once, and he made it count.
Oh yeah, you're right. He killed that little girl, like, big time.
This is a little nitpicky, especially when you talk about how good the practical effects are in this film. Some of the costume design you could definitely tell is just like a really bad mask. It could just be the period that this was filmed in, but like they tried, but there's certain moments where it's very evident that it's like normal body and then just like rubber mask.
I think what this can be chalked up to is the restoration. I think that there's certain movies that shouldn't be watched on Blu-ray because yeah, you can see the latex. I think the biggest example is when the guy is being attacked by the spiders, because you can see the difference in color from, you know, the latex nose and lips that are getting bitten off versus his regular face. But seeing it in 1080p, I think we're more aware of some of the issues that you would never see on DVD.
And it doesn't take away from the film by any means. You know what you're getting yourself into.
That beard guy was kind of creepy though, especially when he was like in the water, like in the bathtub, and you're like, is the tub draining or is he moving? He was moving.
That was also like the most noticeable time that it was like slab upon slab of
Whoa.
like makeup and then like normal skin.
John, do your makeup or somebody's makeup and put them in water and see how they last.
Found the book.
And I read it.
I don't know if I love the ending. I get that it kind of like goes to a weird place. The moment that they go downstairs, they're like, wait, this is the downstairs of that last place, but now we're in the hotel again and we're going through the gates of hell. And I get that they're like now in hell or whatever it is, the beyond, we'll call it, as I think is intended. I don't know if I loved it. And I know that a lot of people do. I don't think it was for me. Now it's time for our final thoughts and ratings. I dug a lot about the beyond, and it's because of like the way that Italian cinema was just done at the time. Great practical effects, great music, the cinematography was fantastic, and the story is interesting. Having like a nice mystery mixed with a zombie movie is pretty enjoyable. Unfortunately, I did find myself bored at times, even though it's not necessarily a poorly paced film. I didn't really like Liza, which is problematic. If she's your lead, you should care. This movie has a lot of really good things going for it, and I do respect it as being a very influential film, but it's not one that I love. So I'm gonna give this 3.5 Lil Dickies out of 5.
Good boy, Dickie.
I love how this film was shot. It does a really good job in creating an atmosphere, telling a story, and having you wanting more. This film has some fantastic kills, and you care for when they actually happen.
Like Harris, great guy, dies nearly immediately. I was almost immediately invested in that fellow.
I don't necessarily know if it's just how good of quality it is that you see the poor makeup design, but it doesn't take away from the film. So with that being said, I'm gonna give this film 4.5 creepy, sweaty Arthurs looking for keys out of 5.
I was looking for keys.
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your thoughts on the film if you've seen it. If you haven't and you do want to check it out, links are in the description. And if you want the opportunity to recommend a movie for us to review, check out the Patreon link, also in the description. And if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with everything Bloodbath and beyond.